Before I talk to you about Angel Gomes and Jonathan David and how it looks like West Ham have made a bit of a catastrophic, whopping error and sort of squandered an opportunity, a decent opportunity to sign at least one, if not both of these players, I just want to remind you of our Hammers Chat raffle to win a Paulo Di Canio signed shirt. Signed shirt. I think this is important. I said on yesterday's video, Paulo Di Canio shirt. Paulo Di Canio signed shirt and an armband. So raffle, link is in the description below, literally under this screen. It's a drop-down screen. Click on there. You'll find the link to it. You'll see pictures of the shirt and everything on there. £5 a ticket. If you buy 2 tickets, you get a third for free. The raffle closes Sunday, 8 p.m. It's the second prize of a Paulo Di Canio signed captain's armband. Okay, don't shoot the messenger on this one. This one is bad news. You're not going to like this, but it's not my fault. I had somebody yesterday who I think it was based on the fact that I'd said in one of the videos that we were going to hire some coaches, and I'd said in another video that we were skint, and somebody seemed quite annoyed, and they said, "Well, how are we going to hire coaches if we're skint?" I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. The first story was a story from Sean, which had said West Ham are skint, which had come from the club. The next story was the following day, which was a story from ex-West Ham United employee saying we were going to hire some coaches. I don't know. I'm just trying to produce a video each day based on the news that there is surrounding West Ham. So don't shoot me. That being said, well, definitely don't shoot me, but don't shoot the messenger. So I couldn't tell you whether West Ham are actually actively in Brazil trying to scout or coach. I just don't know, all right? These are stories. So anyway, you won't like today's, right? You won't like today's information, that's for sure. So where do I start? Right, okay. I think I was going to say it's a double whammy, this is a quadruple whammy, this one. West Ham, as you know, have been trying to buy or sign Jonathan David and Angel Gomes. They both play for Lille. Both their contracts are expiring in the summer. In June, they're out of contract, and they can sign for somebody else. Now, well, actually, they can sign for foreign clubs, which of course is us because they play for Lille in France. They could sign a pre-contract agreement now. They're free. Of course, as we all know, it's not free. You're going to have to pay a signing-on fee. You're going to have to pay their representatives and so on and so forth. But West Ham are interested. And as we mentioned on yesterday's video, free transfers are going to be probably quite attractive. And we went through the list of names on transfermarket.com that said players were available for free transfer. If you've got no money, then that's going to be advantageous, right? We like these players. He's good players. Jonathan David's a top quality player. Angel Gomes is. So anyway, that's one part of the story. So we want those players. It has been revealed that at the point when West Ham were trying to replace Julian Lopetegui, or we knew that we wanted him to go, we held interviews with 3 managers. Now, this is quite important because Edin Terzic, who of course he took Borussia Dortmund to the Champions League final last season. Of course, he was one of the coaches at West Ham under Slaven Bilic. It's been claimed within the last sort of 24 hours that he was offered the job at West Ham and he rejected it so as he could wait around and take the Spurs job. Now, I guess you've only got to look at both teams this season and think either one of those jobs going to come along quite shortly. Now the club absolutely refute this and said, well, hold on, he was never offered the job. And I'm going to be quite consistent on this because I've been saying it for quite a while before I'd even heard that rumour. And that is what my understanding was, this is what I was saying in January as well, that West Ham interviewed 3 players, 3 managers to replace Lopetegui. The first one was Potter, who's got the job. The second one was the former PSG manager, Christophe Galtier. And finally was Paulo Fonseca. Now, we've been linked with Fonseca for many, many times. Let's talk about musical chairs here, actually. Follow this if you can. Lopetegui was going to join AC Milan at about the same time that him and Fonseca were both linked with the West Ham job. Fonseca, of course, is Portuguese manager, who is a former. It's going to come back. We'll get back to it. He's the former manager of Lille, which of course is where Angel Gomes and Jonathan David are at the moment. He was rumoured to be after the West Ham job. He was in the running. He was in consideration. So was Hunan Lopetegui. Hunan Lopetegui was suggested he was very close to getting the AC Milan job. Now, the AC Milan fans did a petition, and it was the no Lopetegui thing or whatever it was, something like that. And in the end, the Rossoneri, which is what they're called, they managed to see him off. No more Lopetegui. In the end, they hire Paulo Fonseca. You still with me? Right. In the end, Lopetegui goes to West Ham. Fonseca at Milan did about as well as Fonseca did at West Ham. And he got booted out. Lopetegui got booted out. And then Fonseca was in the running for the West Ham job. So he was one of the 3 people interviewed for the job. Now, before I go any further, he's gone back to France now. He is an Olympique Lyonnais and he's doing very well there. He's got a decent record in France. Now, as I understand it, Fonseca agreed to take the West Ham job on a 6-month deal. And so apparently so did Gaultier. Gaultier was going to take the West Ham job on a 6-month deal, which is why West Ham was sort of keen to offer Graham Potter the 6-month deal. In the end, they gave Graham Potter 2.5 years, but with a break clause of 18 months, basically. So at this point next season, we could sack Graham Potter if we wanted to for no compensation. But apparently Fonseca was willing to take it not only on a 6-month basis, but also he was going to take it on the lowest wage of all 3. So West Ham didn't necessarily, this whole thing, West Ham always go for the cheap option. Potter wasn't. Fonseca would have been the cheap option. Apparently he was really desperate to get the West Ham job. He really wanted to go. He wants to manage in the Premier League. He's been close, almost joined Tottenham once. And he also agreed that he would stay if West Ham wanted to retain him. He was so confident of getting 12th or above. I don't know why you'd pick 12th and not 10th, but anyway, 12th and above sounds pretty good at the moment, doesn't it? If he didn't get that, so if he got 13th, he would have signed on for another year on the current low wages. Okay, all good, whatever. The worst thing is that it has been revealed that he would have played an integral part, had he have stayed on, of encouraging Angel Gomes and Jonathan David to join West Ham. Now, let's get things right here. Jonathan David is highly likely to join a team that's playing in European competition. So it was always going to be hard for West Ham to entice him anyway. And, this is none of this stuff is 100%. But they get on very well. And as I understand it, Jonathan David used to play more when he first went to France. He played more of an attacking midfielder, and I believe it was Fonseca who changed him from an attacking midfielder into a striker, and he's done rather well at doing it. Anyway, the pair are very, very close, remain close, and that goes to a slightly lesser extent to Angel Gomes, who of course was came through the ranks at Manchester United. I think he played less than 10 times for the Manchester United first team. Was whatever, Man U graduate, Man U reserve, left. And basically he's gone to France and he's done very, very well in France. Very well in France, in fact. And, to the point where, playing Champions League football, got an England cap, 2 England caps, I believe, actually. Really, really good player, and he's also available on a free transfer. And this had never occurred to me before it was actually pointed out last night, which was, they all got on very, very well. They were all part of a team. And, in the end, Fonseca left. And, I guess he is quite nomadic, Fonseca. I think he does travel around. I think he's successful sometimes and less successful other times, as been shown at Milan. But one of the things he had, pledged to do, as I understand it, and it would have absolutely made West Ham far more of a viable proposition, was he was going to try and encourage Jonathan David and Angel Gomes to join West Ham. Now we've been really bad at this. We've made 2 attempts and it has not gone well. I'm not sure if we've made 2 attempts with Jonathan David, but we've made a big effort to try and sign him. And even Graham Potter, we've definitely made 2 attempts to sign Angel Gomes. Graham Potter has even made a direct call to him to speak to him. But we stood a good chance of getting him, and as I understand it, this was probably even discussed at interview level. But apparently Graham Potter was so far ahead in the running that Graham Potter was always likely to get the job. Which doesn't sound particularly good now because Graham Potter's not doing particularly well. And it doesn't sound particularly good now because Graham Potter has not yet seen a transfer window. So we don't know. At the moment, the truth of the matter is, whether you're positive or whether you're negative about it, we don't know, and we're not going to know until the end of the summer transfer window whether we have done well or whether we haven't. But what is beyond doubt is the former manager of Angel Gomes and Jonathan David, both of whom really apparently enjoyed playing under him, loved his plays an attacking style of football, that West Ham would have had a far bigger chance of getting those 2 really, really important free transfers over the line if we'd have signed Paulo Fonseca as manager. And I think more importantly than that, he was willing to take whatever contracts he was offered. He was ready. He was willing to do a Mido. Was ready to do a Mido. And basically take a derisory pay packet to prove himself. Yeah. So there you go. Bit of a tale of woe. Don't shoot the messenger, though.